Welcome to the Unique Youth Initiative Show. We are glad you're joining us today. Our goal is to have meaningful conversation that will shape the mindset, character, and the future of our youth. Please tell us where you're watching us from in the comment section and kindly share this broadcast for others to benefit from. Today, we'll be discussing olden days stories, lessons from our roots. Many of us grew up having stories from our parents and grandparents, but today those stories are disappearing. We want to explore what those stories taught us and why they still matter today. And one of the very strong value system we hold at the Unique Youth Initiative is to bring moral back to our society so that we can together raise an outstanding youth for a better future. With me today is Mrs. Olubunmi Mekuleyi, and that is mommy that represents the people that have experienced the olden days and they're still living, experiencing the Gen Z generation. And I also have with me a representative of the so-called Gen Zs, Ayomide Alimat.
Thank you so much for having
You're
me.
welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, ma. So, we are going to be having our discussion, as I've earlier said, and that will take us to some few questions I'm going to have to ask our mommy, and then we see how the Gen Z are relating with those stories and things that have happened and how we can keep positive behavioral patterns, and then also how we can bring back moral from the olden day stories and things that have actually happened in the past. Okay, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.
I'm coming to you, ma. During the days when you were growing up, what type of stories did elders usually tell the children?
Yeah, thank you for that question. But first and foremost, let me tell us that our forefathers, our grandparents, our parents, they tell stories, but they are not for entertainment. They are not basically for entertainment. Actually, it sets out that in the evenings, there's always that tradition that everybody comes round after the evening meal and they're ready to listen to a life transforming stories, real life stories at times, and then fairy tales. So these stories carries wisdom. By the time it is rolled out, questions are asked. There's an engagement of all the people that listen, the children and even neighbors. They come in to listen. In different tribes, this very well happens. So this storytelling is basically to also help to train both the children of that family or even the environmental children in the environment, because most times you have more than your children sitting with you and you are saying that story. So they are taught the morals that they are into, because they are always young children, teenagers, adolescents. They are taught morals like respect. They are taught morals like being diligent at work.
Diligence.
Yes, they are taught morals like being honest.
Positive values.
At all costs, regardless of what is at stake. They should be able to hold their ground by saying the truth. And they will bring stories of animals. Most especially, me, I hear plenty tortoise story. Tortoise was so dishonest to the effect that he got his head burnt. He was so dishonest because he wanted to take everybody's food that they threw him from the sky down to the head, and that's why he has his smooth back scale become rough food that they have to patch it. And we have had stories of diligence whereby you are not like now everybody want to get money quick, but in those days they will tell you how an animal took all his time to get a land, to farm, cultivate it, harvest it, and wait until the harvest. There's no short corner of looking for whose farm is already ready and go and pick from that farm. There's no shortcut in life. Those things, by the end of the day, when we are told the story, they will ask us ourselves, what lesson did you learn? So they make us to to use our intellect, you know, our reasoning. They make us to think outside the box. We begin to say, hi, daddy, mommy, I know, I learned that I should stay where they asked me to stay. So we have so many stories that each of them is volume, brings volume of knowledge, volume of exposure, what is expected of you in the society. And you cannot but want to run with those teachings outside of education.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am.
Very
So
much.
that will lead me to the second question. Okay, so this kind of story that were told then were, yes, maybe animal stories, animal kingdom stories, but the moral of the lesson is that positive values were being
Expected.
impacted to the younger generations.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Why were stories very important in those days? Let me ask you.
Yeah, thank you very much. We discovered that aside the fact that most times some children don't have the facility to go to school, or even some parents don't have what it takes to send children to school, probably for even in their town or village, they might have schools far away. And those days, parents are often farmers, fishermen, you know, all these artisan works. So there is not much wealth as we can see now. So the parents still want that child to understand the dictates of life, what is expected of him or her if he has to grow up and leave the home. So they bring for what they have learned in when they were young and bring it to teach, like home training,
Purpose of
homeschooling. Yes, the purpose of learning. Yes, they will not just grow up uncultured, unlearned, and you know they will be vulgar in character, in attitude, and they'll be wondering, which home are you from? Are you not tutored? Are you not taught? So that is one of the reasons why it comes in story one to bring the attention, to bring the attention. They get the attention of these children. Yes, and they are also know that when they get answers to the lessons of the story, they are gifted. There's always a gift ready. The parents will get small. They maybe it's meat, smoked meat, fried meat. So everybody wants to say hi, and get an answer. So it's actually a school, a home school on its own.
Wow.
And you will be so surprised that every children is always looking towards that time, every time, to sit in and listen.
And I think for me, the one of the importance, the way you said it, ma,
Yes.
is that it helps people to resonate with themselves.
Thinking word.
Not like, yes, thinking word. Not like now that people are dissociated from
Yes.
even themselves.
Yes.
When to talk of their neighbor.
Yes.
You see children just glued to their screen.
Technology.
No relationship, no personal relationship
Yes.
with other
Even
kids or even people,
mates.
even their parents.
Yes.
So everything now is online and
technology.
You know, and I think it's a way of eating up our youth these days.
Yes.
People, even if they are around people, they are lonely.
Yes. Yes.
So kind of.
They are there, but they are alone.
They are alone.
Yes. Even if they are in the crowd. Alone. Yes. Wow. And that is disservice to family culture,
family values.
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. So that will take us to the last question for this show.
Yes, please.
Which is, what lessons did those stories teach about respect and behavior?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Of issues on that.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, during our days, I hardly see anything aside the fact that when a child or a home family wakes up in the morning and then the male child goes flat on his tummy and greets, good morning, daddy, good morning, mommy. If there's anybody senior, maybe an uncle that is living with them, goes to the uncle to do the same. And the girl child also goes on her knees, like on her two knees. And the father would touch the child. You know, there is a connection. Look into the child and say, my daughter, thank you, good morning. How was your night? And then they will release a blessing. Today you are going to be great. When you go out, you will be blessed. That's how I grew. That's what I got to grow up to know, actually. And it was always like we are in competition. I want to be the first to go and greet my daddy.
To take the blessing.
To take the blessing. I want to be the first to go and greet my mommy. And the mother too will pray for the girl child. You will marry well. You know, they'll pray you ahead. Each morning, each afternoon, when you're coming in, you are greeted. Because when you see a child who passes a parent, in fact, your back, something is coming in, you why?
So that will bring me to a question. I'm glad the Gen Z is on this show. Okay, so Ayomide, thank you once again. And now, Mama has talked so much about respect, behavior, and maybe in this generation, actually, we hear a lot of it's an abuse, it's an emotional damage, and all that. So for you, we don't want it to just be one-sided. That okay, we just bring in people from the millennia and beyond to come and talk to. Meanwhile, there are is Gen Zs we want to address. Now, looking at it from your own perspective, do you think all these things we are preaching, moral and positive behavior, do you think they are an abuse kind of? Is it a form of abuse or something? How do you relate with it as a Gen Z person?
As in Gen Z, I do not think it's an abuse. Now, there are extremes that adults would go to, which is certainly wrong. But to build up morality in a child, to raise a child to be um,
Respectful.
morally, yes, respectful, diligent, endure, these are positive attributes. These are things that people are meant to have to grow up into being purposeful, being who they have been called
Being
to
a
be,
responsible
being shaped
adult,
rightly.
yeah.
Exactly, being a responsible adult. And that is the focus of the Youth Initiative.
Yes.
Every of these moral attributes we are talking about are very important. They are not what so I'm sorry, what did you call abuse? They are not
Yes.
abusive at all. You may, apart from the fact that, apart from if you do not want to learn, apart from if you are fine just being who just say, oh, this is who I am, and you cannot change me,
Yeah, this
you
is
cannot do this, you cannot do that. No, there is a way to go, there is a pathway in life, and you cannot just come and shape it just because you're an individual. Now, if you separate yourself from, oh, this is the right way to work, then where do you want to work? Do you want to work outside it? Do you want to create your own
Aside.
path? Yeah, it's not an abuse at all. And I will stand on that anywhere and everywhere that it is not an abuse.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if I should stop here, but it's very important to know. Before I became a believer, let me say this, I was very rash. I was very outspoken, and you could not control me. In fact, I was very, oh, I'm right. What do you want? I'm not saying it's bad to be outspoken, but there is a place of temperance. There's a place of speaking gracefully. There's a place of speaking. There's a place of speaking blessings into people. It is not just about pleasing yourself in that sense.
Yeah.
It is about honoring others. And I will tell you something. Honor is a very key thing. Honor is a very key thing. So that is one of the moral attributes we want to talk about today. And we want to emphasize once again that these things are not abusive at all. They are not meant to condemn you. They are not meant to bring you down. They are meant to build you up. They are meant to take you from where you are to where you want to be.
Beautiful.
This is what I want to pass on.
And we want to be able to contribute our own quota to the point where we have a better society.
Better society.
This is what we stand for.
Unique
Thank you for
Youth
watching us
Initiative.
today. Please share this video,
Like, comment,
it, and put your comments down there. Thank you. We appreciate and we love you.
Love you.